Thanks for the shout out, BIM Socket, also great presentation. And thanks everyone for your time today. So we will get started with StreamVR.
So we are Team StreamVR. I'm Andreas Brake. I'm a software engineer at Topgolf Media.
And my name is Lisa Marie Mueller. I'm a job captain and design technology specialist at Dahlin. And the problem that we were looking to solve is that currently a lot of architecture firms stop updating their rendering models when they get to schematic design. If firms are using VR, AR, usually they export their current BIM models or a SketchUp model into Unity or Unreal Engine and create an entirely different service to create that experience for their clients. Currently, there's also no bi-directional communication between BIM and VR that happens simultaneously as you're making changes in real time. Oh. So we wanted to imagine a world that we could improve the built environment by providing full-scale mock-ups for every project, regardless of the project budget. Residential, healthcare, assisted living, education, childcare, civic, and mixed-use projects can all benefit, as well as corporate and retail projects. You can evaluate the implementation of universal design principles, bringing new perspectives to your project. You can easily and quickly test layouts and allow clients to do the same and see different features in your space. You can also easily select materials and understand how this impacts the space that you're designing. All in VR with a simple to use user interface while using the existing Revit models that you're already working on and have, loading any custom Revit family content, and intuitively updating your model, all while syncing back to Revit in real time simultaneously. And that's what we set out to do with StreamVR. So
StreamVR fundamentally is a system that allows for the bidirectional streaming of data between a Revit add-in and our VR application. This can allow designers, clients, and architects to all make changes to the model in VR and sync these back to Revit in real time.
So our starting point for this project was a proof of concept application that we developed at a 3-day hackathon put on by EngWorks. And at that point, we had the ability to place and move select families that we had manually exported from Revit, as well as painting services with specific materials that we had also built in. And the UI was really storyboarded. So during this hackathon, one of our main focuses was providing a database to export and cache the family symbol geometry from Revit, as well as the texture information and materials. This allowed us to then incorporate dynamic menus that load all of the available content that's in your Revit model. And since it's cached, it saves time because the VR application can just access that database. We also added moving families along hosts, and we built it with the XR toolkit to allow for the adoption of additional hardware options. Yes.
So we're going to go into a demo right now.
So StreamVR is an application that allows you to connect VR to your Revit models. You start by opening the StreamVR add-in and begin streaming. On your headset, you can enter the URL as well as confirm the username and room code. This will then begin your experience, and it will load all of your content from your Revit model into the VR environment for you to begin editing.
So after a few moments of loading here in the demo, we're going to be editing some materials. First of all, we open up our material selection window and then go to select some materials to put on our palette. This palette is particularly useful because it allows us to very quickly reuse commonly used materials. Next, we're going to be painting some walls. If you notice on the top right, you can actually see the wall color changing in real time. You see we can paint the back wall here, paint the ceiling, another side wall, and then we change the ceiling back again. Next, we're going to be looking at some furniture. We can easily open up this furniture menu, I'm there putting down a couch, going to select a coffee table, but then I realize these aren't a good proportional fit for the space. So instead I go to delete them. This is as simple as a single button press with this differently colored pointer. You can see these deleted and added easily from the Revit model. So now I'm going to place down a different type of couch. So I'll place the first one, going to place a second one, and then a coffee table, all simultaneously syncing back. So I'm going through the menu, looking at what my options are, and finally settle on this one. Next, I'm looking at what other options we have, but I decide that this room is good the way it is, so we are going to move on to the kitchen.
In the kitchen, we think that we can maybe add some color to the space by removing some of these chairs and finding different ones. So we look at what furniture options we have available and select one that we like. We can also rotate the model before placing it to get the orientation just right. Back in the living room, we noticed that this window might not be in the best place to get the best lighting for our reading nook, so we can move the window over and adjust the furniture accordingly.
So after placing these down, we think that the lighting near the couches could be improved. So we can go into our separate lighting menu. I grab a floor lamp and put it down. Now that we have all of our lights in place, we think we want to get a better view of the room. So we stand over here and we can click a button on our home menu to go into night view mode and see what it looks like. So at a high level, our application can be broken down to 3 parts. We have our Revit add-in, we have our VR app, and then in between the two, we have a message bus that allows for this real-time transfer of data between these 2 systems. One of our first focuses of this hackathon was to enhance our configuration options. So before, at the end, from what we had in our proof of concept, there was a lot of, of course, hard-coded connection strings in there and pretty much unsecure connections. So now we have this interface in the Revit add-in that allows us to enter this URL. You can see the same thing in the Revit app, in the VR app. Because we can enter this, it means that an organization deploying this can either host it in the cloud somewhere or even on-premise behind their VPN. The username and the room code are important in order to differentiate traffic that's communicating over this multi-tenant network bus.
We also completely refactored all of the menus in UI. As I mentioned, we allowed for the dynamic loading of all of the Revit content, deleting instances and moving families along their host.
So one of the biggest focuses we had in this hackathon was implement a model server. One thing we came across previously was that it was dramatically infeasible to actually stream all family information from Revit to the app when you boot it up. So instead, we have a simple 1-button press. You can export one time all the basic family symbol geometry into our separate model server. This means that the VR app can pull down from this model server as it needs based on metadata provided by the Revit add-in.
And this is one place where we were previously looking at incorporating them. Unfortunately, due to the timeline, that just didn't work out with the other items we want to accomplish during this hackathon. So I know what you're all asking, how do you get to deploy this on Monday when you get back to the office? So all you have to do is download the StreamVR Revit add-in, download and install the APK onto an Oculus Quest headset, export your families and materials with the buttons in the Revit ribbon, and then you can select begin streaming to start your experience.
So there's an asterisk there, of course, because at the moment we are hosting our model server in the cloud. This is available for the next few days if anyone wants to try it out, but of course won't be up there forever. Organizations in the future who want to deploy this would have to stand up their own.
And what we are also looking at is how we can improve our idea in the future. We would love to look more into enhanced dynamic lighting. Allowing families to move between different hosts is one challenge that we face that we really want to tackle. And then just creating families that aren't hosted on the floor. Additionally, expanding XR support. At the previous hackathon, we had spoken a bit with one of the judges who worked at Turner Construction, and it would be really great if a contractor's VDC team could go out with the HoloLens and actually as built in the field moving items in the Revit model that would sync back to their as-built documentation. And then finally moving more structural elements like walls, floors, and ceilings.
So thank you for your time, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Yes.